Check. What's up, gang? What's up, homies? Welcome back to the Field Report. If this is your first time here, welcome to Thornwyld. This is where I talk about local bands, drop footage of their sets, and release my own music. The point of this series is very simple. It's to help you discover local bands and help me remember how I feel about who I see. Remember, these are just my opinions. Cool? Cool. All right, this is a special Austin edition of the Field Report. Some of the homies were playing Private Park the next day. That Field Report is coming soon, and I figured I'd go out and support them as well over here. Huge thanks to Frank for inviting me out. This was my first time out there at the tunnels. So here's kind of how it is. You park under this overpass, and then you kind of snake your way through this wooded path under more concrete. You cross over this bridge, and eventually you end up at this big concrete drainage area, the tunnels. It's kind of like underneath the road. By the time I got there, the band's already had lights and a generator set up. Everything was looking good. There was kind of music playing from the speakers. It already looked super sick. The entry cost for the show was a toy, as they were having a toy drive, so I showed up with a stuffed Pikachu and donated that. Let's go ahead and get into all the bands I saw, because honestly, they were all really good. There's not going to be any low scores here today. The first band I saw was Shade, or officially known as Shade.tx. I absolutely love whatever chorus they had on their guitars. It sounded super awesome, very heavenly but hard. That shit really stuck with me. And they do these like timing gaps really well, where everything would drop for a second and then slam right back in. Super cool. That small pause and resume is so fucking hard. I love that. It just itches my brain for whatever reason. Their sound almost reminds me of like nu metal, but in the best possible way and way heavier. There's definitely a bit of a post-hardcore tone to what they're doing as well. Their last song was Do Not Resuscitate, and I have to say I loved that one the most. Just hands down, that was my favorite piece of their set. Afterward, they told me they really don't want to get boxed into one genre, which I can completely understand. But the best way to describe them is probably like alternative hardcore. If you're a fan of Loathe, Knocked Loose, or Vane.fm, you should absolutely be paying attention. They've got a show coming up on January 19th at Come and Take It Live, so you can go check them out there if you want to see that. That's in Austin. They just dropped a music video for that track that I really liked, Do Not Resuscitate, so go check that out. I'll link that as well. And just keep an eye on these guys, because it's pretty crazy. They sound awesome. Altogether, I think I'd say they were my favorite band of the night. I will give them a 9 out of 10. They had a great set, they had a great vibe, and they were tight. Next up, Fall of Eldar. Their songs just ripped so hard, and Frank did a badass job at putting everything on. I can only imagine how fucking stressful that was, trying to run the logistics of, 2 concurrent shows. Easily, Fall of Eldar had my favorite vocals of the evening. Frank is insane. He had these crazy highs that reminded me of like Mitch Lucker, but I maybe even liked them more. Like whenever I think of Frank's vocals and I think of the vocals of You Only Live Once, I'm kind of like, Frank sounded crazy. Also, the drums with the Roland kit, I'm not gonna lie to you, my expectations were kind of low, but it actually sounded really fucking awesome. Way better than it had any right to, especially in a tunnel being ran off a generator. It's slammed. And John is a crazy guitarist. He has probably one of the most solid power stances of any guitarist that I have ever seen. And holy shit, the guitar was loud. It rocked me. I had to check to make sure I still had socks on after they played. And the way that the drummer would switch between cymbals so quickly was inhuman. I got this really cool above angle looking down on him, and I was just impressed with how fast he was going in between cymbals. Fall of Eldar also helped bring a lot of the infrastructure for the show. The generator, the lights, the tubs for receiving toys. So big respect for that. They would describe their sound as tech deathcore, which I would definitely agree with. Honestly, yeah, fast guitars, beat down riffs, and cosmic horror. Dead Space is clearly a massive influence on their kind of themes and imagery. They've got a show coming up January 11th in Austin, also at Come and Take It Live, so you can go catch them there. And there was a little hint that there might be a single coming in January, so keep your ears peeled for that. Altogether, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. You've proven you guys are fast and talented. My only critique is I low-key want more breakdowns. Hurt me a little bit, just how I personally feel. Then there was Gutwrench. First off, right off with Gutwrench, their drums are so impactful. I love how just like slam hitting their drums are. I also noticed that they have this really excellent rhythmic use of panic chords. I really love how it's not just like randomly intermittent, but they really put a cool groove to go with the panic chords, and I like that a lot. Now, there was also this fight guy in the crowd. Bro had a shaved head, was clearly like drunk, maybe coked up. He was just looking for a reason. Grade A shithead energy. And then Gutwrench, being Gutwrench, kicks off their set by literally saying, if you've been wanting to fight someone, now is the time. So, of course, there's a fight that breaks out with that guy, and it's a whole thing trying to get it stopped. Low-key, Gutwrench was ripping the entire time, but that's besides the point here. So then at the end of their set, Gutwrench is like, thanks so much, guys. Take care of each other. Drink water. My brother in Christ. They're probably like the most unhinged band of all time. Their own description to their sound is soundtrack to a DUI, which, yeah, okay. That's exactly their energy. They said their music is for fans of Sugar Ray, Bury Your Dead, oh my god, and Tear Up the Club Thugs, which is accurate in a really fucking cursed sort of way. They've got a music video coming for their new single Pocket Sand, which is going to be released on January 13th. And they wanted to shout out Waterworld, we love Waterworld here, Andrew Dice Clay, and Nerds Gummy Clusters. Fucking Gutwrench. So here's the thing. To be honest with you, I enjoyed their set musically more than their set at Hardcore Halloween. I loved it. I thought it was even better. But I'm low-key docking a point for that weird-ass fight shit, especially with that gas mask-wearing asshole present. We do not want to get the spot busted. So we want to keep it rowdy, but don't be stupid. Altogether, for their score, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10 for their performance here. It was heavy as fuck, their drums are insane, and they could have even been an 8 or a 9. But that energy just got worrisome for a second. Who knows? Maybe I'm just low-key a pussy. Whatever. At this point, I got hungry, so I moseyed on over to the two homies in the corner grilling hot dogs and bacon, and I got a hot dog with bacon on it. I want to go ahead and shout out my boys Chris and Ari for supplying those hot dogs. Thank you so much. I needed that shit so badly. The last band I saw of the evening was Skabatha. Skabatha was very cool. Immediately, I caught this kind of nu metal influence, but it was like mutated into something way nastier. They had this fantastic mix of like blast beats and breakdown chugs, lots of chromatic descents. It felt like post-hardcore, nu metal, and slam had a baby, and that baby was very melodic and violent. Very cool. Also, whatever samples they were using for whatever that electronic kind of spin to their stuff is, like, were super cool. Especially that jungle type sample. That was ill. They describe themselves as an offshoot of nu metal and metalcore with elements of electronica, and they would say that if you like Vane.fm, Slipknot, and Omerta, then they're absolutely in your lane. They've got a new single dropping in February off their EP Frequency. They also have shows January 2nd and January 15th if you want to catch them. They're opening for Donella Drive at Stable Hall in San Antonio. They shouted out their producer Nate G, their EP cover artist Bloodina, and all the bands they've played with. Very sweet. Altogether, for my verdict, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. They had sick energy, they had sick samples, and their set was great. I want to go ahead and give a thanks to everyone that made this happen. Such a huge thanks to Obsidian Frequency, your boy Frank, for helping organize this and run it and make it all possible. All the toys were delivered afterwards to the Child Life Department at the Dell Medical Center, and that is such a sick way for the scene to bind together and do something community focused for the holidays. Bro might as well be Santa because he single-handedly put me in the holiday spirit this year. Alright, I've said it before and I will say it again. Go out and support your locals. Buy a shirt, grab a sticker, hit Bandcamp, show up, do all the things. If you say there's no good heavy music here, then you're just not listening. Thanks for watching all the way to the very end. I will dump the extra clips on the Thornwyld YouTube channel. Go ahead and check that out. Give them a like. Give me a subscribe over there. And of course, I'll tag all the bands and organizers and homies below. Go and show them some love. And if you like what I'm doing, why don't you do me a favor and give me a like, give me a share this with your homies, and give me a follow on Instagram. Another thing that you can do is support me by buying me a coffee through my Ko-Fi page, which I will leave a link in my bio to. You can check out my link tree to find that. It would really mean a lot if you threw me a couple bucks in there, whatever you can afford. This helps me afford cover charges, get sick-ass local band merch, and keep showing up and making these sick-ass videos for you guys. Thank you so much. This has been the Thornwyld Field Report, and I will catch you next time, homies.